All right, we're back, and it's time to talk to Team 148. They're the Robowranglers, and they're from Greenville, Texas. Welcome back to the show, folks. Can you guys introduce yourselves to everybody at home?
Sure. I'm Adrian Emerson, lead teacher of the Robowranglers.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm a student leader and on the CAD and design team.
All right, awesome. So we got a lot of awesome, really cool things to talk about. First off, I kind of want to talk about how your build is progressing. It looks like you guys had sheet metal Christmas, basically. It looked like you had all sorts of stuff show up at your shop. Tell us about how the build is progressing so far.
Yes, we had part of our sheet metal Christmas on Friday. We got all of our drive train in. And then last night we got part of our new intake in. And then we're hoping to get the rest of the sheet metal on Friday.
Awesome, that's great. So from between Friday and you getting all the sheet metal for your drive line, how long did it take you guys to actually have a fully working driving part of your robot?
So we stayed late on Saturday, and by about 11 o'clock we had it up and running on the field. So that was really exciting to see it finally move.
That's great. So you had like almost nothing, and then you built the robot and had it driving in like under 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yep. Lots of hard work. We stayed a little late on Saturday too, but we couldn't leave without seeing it move.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling. Did you guys have like all the electronics pre-built and you just had to drop it in, or did you have to wire the whole thing up as well?
Yeah, so we got the electronics boards back on Tuesday so our Sparkies could actually start wiring them. So they were pretty much done and just had to be dropped into the drive base.
Okay, and Sparkies is a term for the electrical guys, I guess.
Yes.
We forgot to tell you that like we speak our own language over here, so you got to call us out when we say funny stuff.
It's just fun. It's just funny. That's all. I've heard of snurps before. I didn't know Sparkies
yes.
also a term too, but cool.
Yep.
All right. So let's also talk a little bit about this other stuff we saw in your video. So we saw an intake without a picture of a chainsaw over top of it, although it was mostly a cardboard box. How is that? Is that kind of the design you guys are going with for your sheet metal build right now, or is that a previous design?
That's a previous design. The new design is very similar to it, though. Just a couple revisions.
Okay, but it's not made of cardboard, I assume?
No. We're just testing.
Okay, very cool. Awesome. Well, it looked like it was working really well. We also saw a lot of video there of you guys building and assembling and putting together like a full field. Why don't we talk a little bit about how you guys been doing that?
Sure. We've spent a lot of time and probably had a good 10 students and maybe 3 mentors dedicated to field building for most of our meetings. But I think, can call it done for right now. The only thing we're missing is one of the boilers. We actually worked with Team 3310 from Heath, Texas. They're about 20 minutes down the road from us. So we worked with them in building the field. So they actually built both of the boilers. So they built one for us and one for them. And once competition season starts, they're going to bring that boiler up and they're going to practice up at our facility. But the airships are done, even though we call them tree houses. And they look really good. And everything else, I think, is in place. So we've actually moved that sub-team to start working on getting old drive bases up and running so we can start using those as defense robots and things like that for eventually down the road when we're ready to start practicing.
Oh, cool. Wow. So you're already getting ready for your driver practice, and you're not you're this far ahead, basically. Not ahead necessarily, but you got that many resources to do it. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a lot of kids on the team this year, more than we're used to. So it's given us a little bit of flexibility to do stuff like that.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about your shooter stuff. We know that we didn't see any footage of the shooter this week. We saw a lot of boxes previously, but we know you guys have some updates to talk about, not about the shooter in general. So what's up with that?
Sure. Madison was saying we're hoping to get some more sheet metal on Friday, and that is more of a high fidelity prototype of our shooter. We're pretty sure we've narrowed down some of the basic design features of the shooter. So we're gonna knock out a high fidelity prototype for Friday and then test it this weekend to make sure that we're absolutely sure of the direction we want to go with the shooter. So we're hoping to drop sheet metal for that in the morning. So send it over to our manufacturing IFMI, and they will hopefully get it back to us by Friday, and we'll work with that. So we said last week, that's kind of the subsystem where we feel like we might be a little bit behind on. So we're still working, and we feel like investing the energy to prototype this 3 or 4 times is really worth the investment, because if we can invest all this time in prototyping, then the final design should go into place pretty easily, and we won't have to make many modifications. So
cool. So when you say a high fidelity prototype, this is like you've basically taken all your other prototypes, figured out what works, what doesn't. You've CAD'd it, and you've gotten it in a drawings created to send it off to have made. How long does that process take? The sort of the CAD to the drawing to the sending it off to manufactured. Is that like something you can turn around in a day or two, or does that take like almost like a week, or how does that work?
No, we started CADing the shooter about Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
And our CAD team worked on that basically all weekend. And there's still a little bit more to go. For this particular prototype, we're not going to do any of the finishes that we would do on a real robot, no lightning, or trussing patterns or anything like that. We're just going to get the basic design out and throw it on a robot and make sure it works. And then if we're happy with it, then we'll go back and do all that other stuff. So again, normally we wouldn't go into this much detail with a prototype. We would say, hey, this is going to be good enough. If we have to make we'll make it a final design, and then we'll tweak as necessary. But like I said, this shooter, we just think it's important enough this year that we need to invest a few more steps in our process to make sure that we get it right.
Cool. So I guess, best guess from you guys. Do you think it's going to work almost completely the way you want, or how much modifications do you think it's going to take between this and your final shooter?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
I feel like it'll probably need some modification.
Yep.
Because it's been kind of difficult. This has been our slowest group, this build, so just trying to tune it in so far.
Okay.
The thing we've prototyped the least is probably the feeding. And so I think that's what we're most worried about. So I think that's what we're probably going to have to tweak with.
Okay, cool. So does this prototype also include the mechanism that brings the balls into the shooter, or is it just a shooter mechanism?
Yeah, it includes what's bringing it in. Plus, we are working on a hopper feeder system back at the shop right now that's going to go onto the drive base and then go in and integrate in with this high fidelity shooter prototype. So
cool. Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to hopefully see some video, maybe with some stuff blurred out, but it'll be really cool to see what this prototype looks like. So, or how it shoots at least. That'll be great. So let's talk a little bit more about the not robot stuff you guys do. So you guys have won tons of awards in the past, and you guys are already starting to work on some of the awards. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how that's all going?
Yes, so we've been working on chairmans since this fall. Yeah. And this past week, we've been hitting really hard on the essay, and we're close to having it done. Got to make final edits, and then we've pretty much done our questions that go along with that, and we're hoping to start our videos sometime this week, and then we're going to start working on the presentation on Saturday.
Wow, so you guys are pretty far ahead on that. So when you say you've been working on it since fall, we've known that the chairman's essay is going to be a thing. It's not like it's a surprise for anybody. How many hours do you guys have put into this essay?
Oh man, a lot. A lot. We worked really hard on our chairman's submission last year, and that was me and Madison's first experience on the Chairman's Award team was last year. So we worked really hard on this last year, and we kind of came in and we felt like we had a little bit more experience this year. And it's been really fun to kind of see the progression that we've made. One of the other mentors was saying today that he thinks that the essay looks really great, and comparing it to last year's essay, it has like so much more substance instead of like less fluff. Yep. And we were really excited about that. And it's just fun to see how far you can come in a year. So. Oh
yeah. I mean, people tend to see the essay as something you have to fill up words with. And really, if you're a team that can earn and win the Chairman's Award, you shouldn't have any problem putting a lot of great stuff in there. And that's great to hear you guys are doing that. That's awesome. So
yeah, it's been a really fun process.
What about the other awards you guys are submitting for? I know that the Woody Flowers Award deadline is coming up pretty soon as well. Have you guys been working on an essay for that too, or?
Yeah, we have a couple kids that have been working on it. They have a rough draft. We're, of course, like any Woody Flowers team, over characters, because that's the hardest part of the Woody Flowers Award. Yep. And I've been helping out a little bit with that sub team along with 3 of our students. And I think that it's coming along really well. We, have a lot of great mentors that are all really, really deserving of the nomination. And so I think that this year it's a really great nomination. And no matter what happens, it's really great to recognize your mentors in that way.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. I was lucky enough to have 2 mentors on my team when I was growing up that both have won the Woody Flowers Award. And I was happy to help write one of their essays. And it's unlike the chairman's essay sometimes, that one's always really, really hard to boil down to just exactly what you're supposed to have. So that's really good to hear. Yeah. So I also heard you guys, I think I saw some of your FedEx challenge stuff. Are you guys also trying to submit for that? And what is that exactly?
Ooh, I'm going to give you a rough summation, but neither of us really work with the sub team that's doing that. So we'll try and do our best for them. But the FedEx Challenge is obviously sponsored by FedEx, and there's a lot of prizes that you can win. There's 3 different challenges. I do know that. So one of them was to steampunk your logo, which we did, and we posted that on our social media. Yep. The next one, which we still haven't posted, but we're finishing up, is I think it was something about opening up the kit of parts, something. And then the last one is talk to a first alumni and get some information from them about their experiences. And so we have our mentor, our coach, Kevin Morris, is going to be part of that submission. He was a 148 student when he was in high school, and he's been a mentor for a really long time for us. So he's going to do that part of it. So
wow. That's awesome. That should be fun. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's take a couple of questions from the Twitch chat. We know that you guys are trying to keep some stuff secret, so we're not going to ask anything too prying. We also are going to try to rephrase them sort of like a yes, no, if possible, because not everybody in the chat asks them. But if you have a question for these guys, type !Q followed by the question in the Twitch chat, and we'll send it in. If we like it, we'll ask these guys, and we'll get an answer from them. All right, so we got our first question coming up here. All right, the drivetrain looked small. Did you choose the tall volume for your robot?
No, we didn't. We chose the small, the short, I should say. Ooh,
really? Actually, I was going to remark the drivetrain it looks itsy bitsy. I mean, it looks really good. It looks like it performs well, but it's almost like when I first saw it against the carpet, my mind saw it and thought it was a Vex robot. I know it's not that big. It's definitely not like that, but it looks so small.
It's really small.
It's really small. It is really small.
Cool.
And meanwhile, today we actually did a demo at an elementary school earlier tonight, and we actually put Renegade in the trunk of a Jeep. So Renegade was really small, and this robot is even smaller.
Cool. All right. So we have another question coming up here. This is also one that somebody asked, but we've rephrased to be a yes/no question. So can you guys hold more than 60 fuel? I mean, right now your robot doesn't hold any because it's got no hopper on it. But do you guys think it will hold more than 60 fuel?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, we actually don't. Yeah,
know.
We don't actually know.
Okay. So is it mostly just you kind of build it as you build the hopper as big as you can get it, and then whatever that is, that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
We,
cool.
we think storing fuel is important, but we also want to make sure all of our mechanisms work.
Yes.
So, so we're gonna make sure everything works, and then we'll see how many our robot holds.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You know, it's hard to shoot balls if you can't shoot them, and it's hard to store balls if you can't collect them. So that makes a lot of sense. Cool. All right, and we got one more question. Unfortunately, this was not a yes or no question, but we'll see if you guys answered anyway.
Okay.
Coming up next, it is from Azathoth __. What is 148's preferred brand of chainsaw?
A black one.
I don't. Is there anything? Is there such a thing as a black chainsaw? I feel like that's like.
I don't know.
Right? Like if you're in the woods, what if you drop a chainsaw on the floor? I don't know. Maybe. No. I bet you could make one.
All black everything, man.
Is that like your team motto? I'm guessing it is because
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. And by the way, to the both of you, thank you guys for driving to the IFI headquarters to do the show. We had some internet issues at the school, and you guys were great sports, and you drove to a different location. We put in Apex, and you guys came on board. So thank you so much for doing that for us.
Yeah, thank you guys for being flexible and having us on.
Oh yeah, it's always a bunch of fun. So everybody watching, thank you for tuning in to check in this week. We're going to have all these videos up on YouTube in the next couple of days, so you can send them to all your friends and check them out in greater detail. We're going to be live next week at 7 p.m. Tuesday, right back here on twitch.tv/FRCGameSense. We also broadcast on YouTube. If you can't watch Twitch, just go to youtube.com/FRCGameSense, and then follow us on Twitter and Facebook. We're both the RoboSports Network in those places. But ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's a lot of fun to work with you as always. And for everybody watching at home, thank you for watching tonight. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye for now, though.